Hey guys, Malinger here. I know it's been a long time since I've done a theory video. I'm very sorry about that. Just schedules, having a day job and all this other stuff. Anyway, you don't want to listen to that. So, here's my theory about Torchwick being still alive. The weird thing that got me about that whole scene where Torchwick was eaten was, first off, it's a griffin, and it has a beak. Now, birds, I don't necessarily think do a lot of clipping and chopping. But even if they do, sorry, I didn't do my research on bird beaks. But nonetheless, even if they do, we see Torchwick clearly getting completely sucked down. I mean, he was swallowed whole. So, there's a reasonable belief that he was still alive inside that Grim. And look what happens to the Grim immediately afterward. RWBY kills it, somehow by kicking it in the head, and then the explosion goes off. So, and then we see the Grim fade away. So here's the question. If Torchwick was inside of a Grim, and that Grim was immediately dispersed, or evaporated, that's the word. If the Grim immediately evaporated a few minutes late, or a few seconds later, isn't it reasonable to assume that Torchwick is still alive? I mean, wouldn't the Grim have just evaporated and he was like, you know, that kind of nonsense. So here's my thing. Why is Rooster Teeth claiming for 100% that he's dead? Unless there's some weird reason why Torchwick being inside the Grim and then the Grim dying would make him evaporate as well. That doesn't make a lot of sense, though, would it? So here's my thinking. What if, when a person is eaten by a Grim, perhaps that material, or thus the whole person if swallowed whole, which probably is an odd thing to happen in the first place, but what if when that happens, they're not actually being consumed for the sake of the Grim, because we know they don't need to eat. They do it because they want to. That's the theory, or that's the prevailing theory in Remnant. So what if, when he got swallowed, or when any other chunk of meat gets swallowed, that material is actually being either shifted into another dimension or transported somewhere else? I know this sounds a little bit similar to the whole Pyrrha being transported via the arrow or whatever you want to, because of how the arrow transported and all that, but that's not what I'm getting into today. What if he wasn't even transported to the Grim High Command or whatever, Salem and all? What if maybe even both of them were actually completely transported to like a whole nother place, another planet, another realm, whatever you want to say? So that's where my thinking was going. So who do we know in any other franchise, form of media, whatever, that has orange hair, a white coat, maybe a cane and a bowler cap, and with that type of attitude? I propose to you that Roman did not in fact die, but was transported to Final Fantasy universe and was that guy. Yep, totally. I think that's perfectly reasonable. They have very similar mannerisms. They act the same. It's just, it makes a lot of sense. So when the RWBY crew decided they wanted to go ahead and kill off Roman, they just said, let's let him be transported to the Final Fantasy universe games. So that's my theory. I know it's a bit out there, but you know. So I'm going to leave it at that, let you guys make your comments, and I hope you guys have a happy April Fool's Day. Here's a potato.
And the cracks begin to show.